is now called to order. This is the Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting. It's Monday, November the 18th. I'm the chair, Councilman Xanthi Alva for the 3rd District, and at this time, I will call the roll for the members of the committee first. Councilwoman Xanthi Alva present. Vince White, chair, vice chair.
Present.
Natish Bracy, Councilwoman Bracy.
Present.
Councilmember Nathan Field.
Present.
Councilmember Brigida Fields. Councilmember James Spadola.
Present.
Councilmember Ernest Trippy Congo. President. No one has, as a friendly reminder, only members of the committee meeting should be making motions and seconding. So let's get right to the agenda for the Public Works and Transportation meeting for November the 18th, 5 p.m. We are going to do a resolution approving the grant of several easements for the Riverwalk to the Riverfront Development Corporation of Delaware and maintenance. Who's here to speak regarding it?
It's Vince Croce, Deputy Commissioner, Department of Public Works. All right, so we have multiple easements for the Riverwalk for property that's owned by the city. Easements going to Riverfront Development for maintenance, ongoing maintenance and access for the Riverwalk. WITN, I did send them some graphics for that if they can put them up for council members to see.
Do y'all have them back there? Okay.
Okay, there we go. There's multiple pages. There's various sections within the Riverwalk where we'll be granting easements. You can go to the next page, please. Okay. And the next. Okay. All right, so.
You want to explain it?
So these are again, these are various drawings from Vandermark and Lynch of the various areas along the Riverwalk in different stations where we would be giving the easements to RDC.
Okay, what's the first one?
All right, Megan, do you want to come up too?
It's Megan.
You want to come up too, just in case there's any?
Could you
specific-
please state your name for the record?
Hi, Megan McGlinchey, Executive Director of Riverfront Development Corporation. So the map that you see there, this is an area of the Riverwalk that's right in front of Justice and Landing, so next to where Constitution Yards is. So this is a section of land that the city of Wilmington owns. Next one, I think there's 4 sections along the Riverwalk where the city actually owns the property, and we've been maintaining, obviously we built the Riverwalk and are maintaining it, so this is just formalizing that relationship.
And that's in front of the park, right there in front.
Yeah, so this is next to where Constitution Yards is, right in front of Justin Landing. This is one section, and then each of the
Next slide.
and then this is further down. This is actually to the north of that area. You can see the hair pavilion that sits out on the Riverwalk. So this is just north of that area. That's right in front of where Constitution Yards is. This is the property that was formerly the city's public works property. So that's the land that the city retained on that area.
And you're just going to extend the walk.
So the Riverwalk is already built. This is just actually the formal easement agreement that allows us to maintain the Riverwalk in these sections, yes.
Next slide.
And then this is further up the river, so it's just kind of moving north along the Christina.
Next slide.
And then that one, I think that one is further That one is further up as well, north, heading towards the Market Street Bridge.
That you're currently maintaining?
Yes, we already can currently maintain it and provide public access.
Next slide.
I think that was it. I think it was just those
That's it.
four.
Okay.
Yeah, just
It was
those
just the four.
Yes.
Okay, you have anything else you want to?
No.
Okay, Vince, you want to?
Okay, well, the department has reviewed the request for the easement and support it.
Okay, it's a resolution, so it doesn't have to be voted out. Kendra, do you know what date it's going to be on the agenda? Okay,
I think the councilman has a question.
sure, I'm sorry. Any council members that have any questions?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair.
sorry.
For those of us who may not know, what's an easement?
Okay, so this is property that's owned by the city, and the easement gives RDC the right to, for use, access, and in this particular case, maintenance of the Riverwalk
Does it
in
give them the right?
perpetuity.
Does it give them the right to transfer?
No,
Okay. And the easement is for how long?
in perpetuity.
Perpetuity. So with this transfer, there would be no insurance liability against the I mean, the city just removes all?
The city still owns the property. We're just giving them the easement to operate and maintain the Riverwalk. We're not transferring the property.
Okay.
We still own it.
So are any of these cross maintenance agreements? I mean, cross easements?
These are all
All within-
they're all within city property, and they're all maintenance agreements. RDC will perform the ongoing maintenance of the Riverwalk in perpetuity. So we're just giving them the easement to be able to do that and formalizing the agreement.
So no cross-access agreements in place? Just for clarification, again, people might not know, any new construction going on at the riverfront, how would that hamper or impede upon these easements, if any?
It would not.
Okay. Madam Chair, I have no other question. Thank you.
Do you have any other committee members that have any questions regarding this resolution? Do we have anyone from the public that has any questions regarding this resolution? If not, this will be on the agenda. It's a resolution. It doesn't have to be voted out. It will be on the agenda on December the 5th. Sure.
Just for educational benefits, did the city request the easement, or did the RDC?
RDC came to us and requested the easement. The Riverwalk has been there for some time, and this formalizes the arrangement, and it's probably something that should have been done many years ago, but we're just making sure all the Ts are crossed and Is are dotted at this point. Because again, as I said, it does include maintenance agreements, so the maintenance for ongoing maintenance of the Riverwalk will be the responsibility of RDC.
It was shared before?
RDC has been maintaining it since the Riverwalk was built,
Oh,
20 years ago.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification.
Well, we appreciate you maintaining the Riverwalk for 20 years.
And we didn't get a bill?
Okay, and if there's no more questions from the public, that will be all. Thank you. Thanks for coming, Ms. McGlinchey. The next resolution is approving a grant and easement in the right-of-way to 100 block of North Orange Street to BPG Office Partner. Is anyone here to speak in regard to that?
Vince Carocha, Deputy Commissioner, Department of Work. We also have Mike Hare from BPG. This is an easement of one lane on the west side in the 1000 block of Orange Street. This is next to the Nemours building that will be modified and utilized for residential drop-off area as the building is being used for residential purposes now. WITN, if you could get those graphics up there. Okay, so this in yellow on your screen shows where the easement area is going to be based on the current drawing. If you can go to the next slide. This is a rendering of what the drop-off area by the Nemours building will look like. Okay, there's a few more renderings if you want to go to the next slides.
1000 block, the Nemours building,
Yeah,
right there
Nemours
across from
building, yeah.
Deco?
Yes, yeah, so, right now, we maintain, the 2 traffic lanes in there, because there's parking on the easternmost lane. The, parking on the easternmost lane, those signs have been removed, so there'll be no parking on that side, so we'll still maintain 2 through traffic lanes on Orange heading from south to north. And the one lane that's currently a traffic lane there will now be modified, and improvements will be made, streetscape improvements will be made, similar to what you're seeing in the renderings there now. But it'll provide for drop-off for, for individuals dropping off packages, groceries, that type of thing going into the building.
So when you're coming down Orange Street, on the left-hand side, it's going to be the drop-off right there.
Exactly. And then
But the
the
other lanes are
the
still-
parking that was on the far right lane has been done away with, so we'll still maintain the same amount of traffic flow through the area, but that one lane on to the west will be improved by BPG.
I'll come back with my questions. Do we have any questions from anyone from the committee? Yes, President Congo.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd just like to be recognized.
Okay, we have Councilmember Fields on the line. We have a question from Councilmember White.
Deputy Commissioner, for clarity, it's a bottleneck at that Orange and 10th. Seems to be a bottleneck. Does this ease that bottleneck, or will this?
This will
add-
maintain the same amount of through traffic as we two full through lanes. So the one lane to the east is a parking lane right now.
Right.
And those signs have been removed, so that'll be a no parking area through there now.
It's a permanent easement?
It is, because to the level of improvements that are going in, there's significant amount of street and road improvements going in.
So for those who may not know, that would be the owner will make
Yeah.
those improvements.
That is correct.
And the same amount of lanes going south to north will be
Heading
there.
north, yeah, it's one way going north through there right now.
And this was needed, why?
It was requested by BPG because of the changed nature and use of the Nemours building. It used to be an office building, now it's been converted over to residential.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions from council members? Do we have any questions from anyone in the public, from the public? So just for clarity, coming down 10th Street, the 2 lanes are still going to be going through?
Yes.
Okay. And that's just going to be a drop?
The drop-off lane to the west, yes.
Well, may I ask, Mr.?
Sure.
Is there what are the plans for pedestrian crossing between those 2 buildings? Is that a part of the improvement?
Well, there'll still be the crosswalks at each end of the block. That's still is going to be maintained.
I thought there was one in the middle.
I'm not.
That was removed, went to pot, left the building.
Yeah, that's been removed.
I'm talking about surface.
Yeah. There's no mid
So they're
block.
going to be crossing at
The
the
corners.
At the
Yeah.
corners.
Yeah.
So if somebody's, and again, I'm not trying to do anybody's job, but if somebody's exiting east to west to go to Deco, they will cross at the corners only?
Correct.
Okay.
The only reason why I ask, because I know when you come out of the Hotel DuPont, you can still come out that side door, right?
Yes, there's a drive that goes in there, but there'll be no parking in that lane anymore.
Okay. But they're still walking out that door?
yes.
Okay, just, okay.
One, if I
Sure, go ahead, follow up.
follow. There, again, there is nothing prohibiting
He said,
someone,
she said, speak in your mic.
I'm sorry. There's nothing prohibiting a vehicle to go into that lane, or is that, will there be anything to permit?
That the existing traffic lane, the westernmost traffic lane, is where the construction of the new drop off. It'll be brick and so forth, as in the pictures and the renderings that we showed on the screen. So that'll no longer be a traffic lane. That'll be a pull-in lane for people to, with a curb cut for people to
So,
pull in,
okay, curb
drop
cuts.
off, folks out of cars right at the entrance of the building there.
Okay, so there's a curb cut? Okay, thank you.
Any more questions from council members? Any questions from the public? Okay, if there's no questions, this is a resolution. It doesn't need to be voted out of committee. It will be on the agenda on 12/5. We have another resolution approving the Department of Public Works grant application to the state of Delaware for natural resources and environment control. Is there someone here to speak?
It'd be me. All right, so this is they refer to it as a Teddy grant. It's Trees for Every Delawarean. We put in a request with DENREC to get a grant, and were awarded a no-match grant in the amount of $90,965. This will be used exclusively to put trees over in the new Rodney Reservoir Park that's being constructed between Rodney and Clayton, 8th and 9th.
One second. And how much was it, amount for the resident, how much was the grant funding?
Is $90,965.
When I saw that, how many trees are you putting over there?
There's going to be quite a few, because if you recall, we got another grant as well through NIFWIF that we spoke about multiple meetings ago now. That was $500,000, so we're going to be close to $600,000 for trees around the park. We'll be buying a lot of larger trees to put in there, so get it off to a good start.
We have any questions from council members?
I got a question.
Sure,
It's my day.
Councilman Wright.
Not every Delawarean wants trees. And so follow-up, are the residents in that area will be involved where the tree placements go, or that just so?
We've got actually a landscape architect involved that's already put together a plan that was well vetted by the community and the mayor's office. So these are going to be within the reservoir park itself, within that block that's city-owned.
And just for clarity, I know the current governor, 2 years ago, promised a tree for every Delawarean, and I didn't believe there was a cost associated with that, so I'm trying to figure out why we're spending $1 million on trees if the current governor said,
Well, it's closer to a half, but
I'm sorry, yeah,
yeah, there's a cost to buy trees.
thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, we have Councilmember Begita Fields.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is, will these trees be growing up and out, or will they be growing out? As you know, in the city of Wilmington, we currently have trees now that grow up a little bit and then they just grow out. So it becomes a problem in the neighborhoods when it comes to the concrete lifting up, or the roots going into people's water mains and different things like that. So could you tell me what kind of trees we will be getting?
There are various species involved, but as I said, Councilmember, these will all be within the Rodney Reservoir Park, so they're on an elevated area within the park. There's no sidewalk, no existing street sidewalk near there, although there are paths within the park, but we're putting approximately 2 feet of new topsoil and fill on top of the existing park, so they will be planted correctly in there and should not pose a problem to the paths within the park.
Thank you.
Sure.
Do we have any other council members that have any questions regarding this resolution? Do we have anyone from the public that has any questions regarding this resolution? And just for clarity, these trees are going to be inside the park.
Inside the park fence, yes, that's correct.
Okay, this is a resolution. It doesn't have to be voted out. This too will be on the agenda on December the 5th. The next one is the ordinance 24. No, we have, which one is?
This is for 24062.
Okay, so we're going to skip around because we have a gentleman in here to speak towards ordinance 24062. So we're going to go ahead and jump to that one so he can speak. So the next one is ordinance 24-62, authorizing and approving the first amended to the fleet management and maintenance contract. Who is here to speak regarding?
You got me again.
Okay.
All right, so this is contract 18001 PWPS. This is a Public Works Professional Services Agreement for fleet management and maintenance that was issued through an RFP. We are in the last year currently of that agreement now. It was 5 years with 3 one-year extensions. The amendment we are requesting would be for, again, 5 years with 3 one-year extensions possible for a total of 8 years. Transdev, the company that we have been doing business with for many years now, has agreed to hold pricing in the first year of the agreement. In other words, the pricing for fiscal year 26 will be the same as it was for the current fiscal year, and the annual contract maintenance cost of that is $2,329,387.77. So they have graciously agreed to hold that pricing in the first contract year under the amended contract.
I have a question. So this is an ordinance for 5-year contract. What was the previous
It was
contract?
the same. It was 5 years with 3 one-year extensions for a total of 8 years.
Just wanted to make that clear. I'll come back. Councilman White, you have a question?
Yeah, I was following up on your question, Madam Chair. Thanks for the recognition. The first contract period was 17 to 22, correct?
You had to speak in your mic. One
I'm
second.
sorry. The first contact year was,
Started in 17, so it would have been fiscal 18 was, that would have been the first contract.
we've given 3 extensions
We have.
thereof.
We're in the last extension now, which expires on June 30.
Gotcha. We chose not to put another RFP out?
I've done 5 of these so far since I've been here, and we've in one way or the other, always managed to land with the same company. So I decided to save myself a lot of work and procurement, and we decided to do an amendment to the agreement
Thank you. So the amendment says that they're going to hold the price in the first,
the first year.
so they have 7 years.
That is correct.
That price could go up.
It's tied to Wilmington, Philadelphia, and vicinity CPIU. That's what the last 7 years of the previous contract have been adjusted by. So if CPI goes up 3%, the contract rate goes up 3%.
No more than,
No, CPI,
but never less than.
correct.
Okay.
The gentleman is here. Could he come up and speak? I'm going to ask him a question, please. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Jake, last name Harvey.
Mr. Harvey, could you explain for our viewers what does fleet management and maintenance service provide?
Yes, so what we basically do is we work with the city, all the departments, to maintain and repair vehicles. We take it a lot further than that too, working with the city now for almost 30 years. I've been here as director oversight for 17 and connected to the city for 24. We've established a relationship to where we can work with the departments and the fleet management and Vince's Department of Public Works to utilize knowledge to help buy, build, and develop better units and vehicles and apparatus to serve their purpose in the field, to keep them safer, to get more life out of the vehicles. We work closely with the companies and the manufacturers to ensure that the city of Wilmington is getting their bang for their buck, per se, with all their warranty work. We really pride ourselves on keeping repairs in-house. When I first came back, we were paying technicians probably $15 an hour. We're paying technicians now anywhere from $38. Probably the average is between $26 and $38 to $40 an hour. But the reason for that is because with technology nowadays, everybody that we can train, utilize, and keep in our service, it keeps the work in-house. When I do work in-house, your parts cost is on average of 36% cheaper on parts, and your labor is somewhere in the neighborhood of $120 an hour cheaper. We control it. We know when it's being worked on, what services you need, mission critical. If you're short on refuge trucks, or you need fire trucks, or you need police vehicles, we can shift that work around to the people and the technicians that are qualified to get that work in and out for you better. We also provide support services during any emergency situation, 24 hours a day, during snowstorms, your special events, your snow season, your leaf and your time route seasons, daily refuge, your street cleaning. So
You do
we-
side, you said, for emergency sides, side.
So, yeah, like, so for snow events,
Yes.
we put these guys, we go on 12-hour shifts. These guys go on 12-hour shifts as well, and they staff the maintenance facility with half of their operational crew for 12 hours during the night. So if snow plows, critical equipment goes down, they're able to fix it on the fly.
And that includes management and admin personnel as well. When our people work, we all work.
So if my car breaks down, I can give you a call.
You can give me a call anytime, night or day, and I always answer my phone.
Okay, thank you for that clarity. Mr. White,
Thank you, Councilwoman, Council Chair. So, as someone who's visited the depot on occasion, Public Works Depot, when I see people working on vehicles, are they your people or are they our people?
Well, it all depends. If they're working on equipment in the, I think you call that cold storage?
Cold
cell?
storage.
Cold storage. There are some things that routinely the operators do themselves. They are responsible to hit certain grease fittings on sweepers to flush certain systems. But primarily, everybody that you see working on equipment from near the fueling station around the main garage, that would be our staff, yes. We do sometimes, if we have new equipment coming in, we do have manufacturers come. Anytime something new shows up, we QC it. It does not go into operation until we've worked with the city and the manufacturer for training, and then to make sure that the equipment is ready for service. If it's not ready to go into service, then it's up to the manufacturer to come to our location, if possible, and get that said equipment ready to go into service.
Just a follow-up, Madam Chair.
Sure.
I want to be clear. So, around the yard, cold area, it's your people.
Yes, sir.
How do we, and nothing against your people, but how do we cross-train city workers to do your job? So one day we don't have a need for the services, or at least not at the same level of the management services that you perform.
Well,
Can I answer that
Yeah,
one?
go ahead.
All right, so I'll just take you back. This is going back many years ago. The city used to maintain its own motor vehicle fleet over at 16th Street Yard. And a decision was made over 30 years ago to outsource those services because a company like Transdev has worldwide buying ability for parts and equipment. They manage fleets all over the country. So we would be like a small 6 or 10-person shop. We don't have the buying capability that they have on a corporate level. So this is going back 30 years ago when we outsourced this.
And I understand that. Just to follow up, my question wasn't.
Sure, you can follow.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is not the need for services as much as to integrate employees, not to eliminate anything, but I would imagine, I don't want to get into your hiring practices, but
No.
I do want to get into your hiring practices. To have a agency just doing all the work and we have city employees, I just want to know if there's ever, how do you blend that? Is there any value in blending that talent?
Well, the blending part would be this. When we have new equipment that arrives, we are part of the training the operator training from the manufacturer to the city departments to our shop. We all take that training together. We try and make sure that they're getting a comprehensive look at how to maintain certain items or to operate the equipment at a certain level. But for me to sit here and tell you that I could actually train the city employees to integrate into the automotive or the truck or the equipment, it would be impossible. Thank you. That's a lot of education.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions from council members online? Do we have any questions from the public? Now, if there's no questions from the public or anyone online, this is an ordinance, and it needs to be ordinance requires a vote out of committee. So is there a motion to move this out of committee?
Madam Chair, make a
So
motion.
moved. Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second. The ordinance been voted out of committee. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. This will be on the agenda for 12/5. Thanks for coming in person. We had some council members that wanted to see some people in person tonight. Thanks again.
Thank you very much for having me.
Sure. Have a good one. Next, we have ordinance 24058. This is the approved one-year extension contract water distributions maintenance between the city of Wilmington and Brandywine Construction. Who is here to speak?
You got me again. All right, so again, as you were, this contract was put out earlier in this calendar year for public bid as contract 24028WD. This is a water distribution system maintenance contract on behalf of the city of Wilmington and our water system. This, what the ordinance will do is allow us to exercise 4 one-year extensions. The contract amount is $3 million per year, or whatever level of, whatever level of budget we have. We fund this is essentially emergency work, and each of the extensions is capped at 2%, up to 2%.
Vince, do you have, Councilmember White, do you have any questions?
No, Madam Chair.
So this is just regular housekeeping. Well, we've dealt with Brandywine in the past, so this did go out for RFP, correct?
This went out for a competitive bid.
Right.
And it was awarded, and the contract began last July 1st, the first year of it. So we're five months in at this point.
Okay, so could you state your name?
Yeah, Patrick Doherty.
How you doing, Ms. Doherty?
Good.
Could you tell us briefly, when it's a water distribution system, what is that all about?
A lot of it's emergency maintenance work on the water distribution system. It's water main repairs, minor replacements, service replacements, and the restoration to follow the paving, the concrete work, the sidewalks.
So this is mainly to deal with our water main breaks. One of the requirements with the contract was the ability to have multiple crews available at any one given time. When we start hitting the main break season between now and end of March, there's been times where we may have 7 or more breaks going on at one time. So as part of the specifications, the company that we select has to be able to field multiple crews in addition to the crews that the city fields. So we have to be prepared for multiple breaks. We just can't have water running down the street in the cold and causing our tanks to go dry and so forth. So we take this very seriously, the maintenance on our system. City of Wilmington has over 420 miles of water main. A lot of that main extends well outside the limits of the city. So BCCI, Brandywine Construction, is called upon to answer breaks, leaks, service replacements, and effect repairs in those areas whenever we get calls.
Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a couple questions. Just for my own understanding, what's the difference between 4 one-year extensions and just a 4-year contract?
4 one-year extensions, so each one-year extension would have to be approved by the city and the contractor versus a flat 4-year contract. 4-year contract would get approved once, and in 4 years, or in this case, it was 1 year, we're already into it 1 year, it would be a total of 5 years. If we would have entered into it right away, it would have ran for 5 years consecutively. In this particular case here, we have the ability to go back and meet with the contractor each year.
Okay.
Whether or not we're going to extend it, and if we are going to increase it based on CPI, whether or not we feel that an increase of up to 2% is warranted.
So this will come before, just a follow-up, Madam Chair?
Yes.
So this will come before us again next year?
Negative. Once you approve this, the 4 one-year extensions, the department would be authorized to engage and continue with the contract each year.
Okay, all right, so this is just one more follow-up, Madam
Yeah,
Chair?
sure, Mr.
So
President.
this is approving, like, this is giving your department the ability to approve or not approve this contract for the next 4 years without council's involvement?
That is correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Do we have any questions from council members online? Oh, where, Mr. White, please. Councilman White.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll mind my manners. Your disadvantaged enterprise business submissions. If I'm reading this correctly, you have contracts totaling 1.89 million with DBEs?
For this specific contract?
Yes.
Yes.
What was the previous contract amount with DEBs?
Ooh, testing my memory here.
It was probably pretty close to
Yeah.
that. They usually come in fairly heavy. They try to we try to meet a 20% DBE participation rate on the contract, so they're typically using DBEs for trucking, for flagging services and so forth.
Yeah.
There's no, there's no guarantee on what amount's gonna be spent because a lot of this is emergency work in nature. Sometimes we have a lot of emergencies, we have to transfer more money out of other lines into this, so it's gonna be a percentage of what was spent on a given job, and it depends what type of subcontractors are being brought in. If there's a lot of traffic control work, they're typically using a DBE flagging sub.
So may I follow up, Mr. Chairman?
Please, follow up.
So I guess it's 20%. I was asking what it was in the previous.
I believe it was close to that. I could give you the exact amount for, I have the other contract
Right.
upstairs.
So my question simply is this. What are we doing, or what can be done, or is nothing can be done to increase that amount? Is this just status quo? What's been your experience in recruiting or working?
To be honest, it's gotten a lot easier over the last 4 or 5 years. It really has.
What made it easier?
Just the amount of people who are involved in the program. Being able to be involved with this particular work for the last 5, 6 years, getting to know people in the city, we've worked hand in hand with James Williams to get 4 or 5 contractors signed up to help us out on these contracts. And we've identified for us, and to speak to Vince's point here, it's trucking, it's flagging services, it's some concrete and blacktop work that really helps us out with this. And that's the 3 key elements I'd say that we've identified that we can really get the participation numbers up.
And just in closing, Madam Chair, if I may.
Sure.
There's always conversation about involvement with DBEs, and 20% is commendable.
Yep.
But I sometimes, we don't want to oversee this, because this is what stands out. 20% is okay. We'd like to see it, at least I would like to see it increase, 2 mil. Although I won't be around, but I think conversations leading with this information is important for council to be able to understand their interest and how this money is being spent that possibly could affect the community. So I commend you for your works, and I appreciate your frankness, so thank you.
Mr. President?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is kind of apart from this particular contractor, but who monitors that 20%?
Yeah, I get it on every invoice that we get. It shows a percentage of the DBE breakdown, and the subcontractor receipts, they're attached to every invoice we get.
Okay, and if a company does not meet that expectation, what happens then?
My understanding under the DBE program is that the 20% is a recommendation, and we try to meet that. But again, it's going to be specific to the type of work that's being done. Wherever necessary, BCCI reaches out and tries to use their DBE subcontractors if they're not self-performing the work.
Just one more follow-up, Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. President.
And so it's only a recommendation, it's not a requirement for that 20% DBE involvement?
That's correct. That's the way the code reads.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Are there any questions from any other council members online? Is there any questions from anybody in public? Okay, there's no questions. This is an ordinance. It has to be voted out of committee. This ordinance is 24-59.
Motion. Madam Chair.
Okay, we have a second.
Second.
I'm sorry, Anthony, point of order, there's, this one's 24058.
Oh, 58, that's L5, I'm sorry, my fault, yeah.
Make sure we're getting the right one.
24-58, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Okay, this is ordinance 24-58. Is there a motion?
Motion, Madam Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and second, the ordinance been voted out of committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. This will be on the agenda, 12-5. Now we're on ordinance 24-59, which is authorizing approval four-year extension contract for the sewer construction between the city of Wilmington and Brandywine Construction. Is anyone here to speak?
That'd be
Okay,
me.
Vince.
Okay, so this contract, this was put out to bid at the same time as the previous contract we just discussed. This is our contract number 24029, PW Sewer Construction. This contract is based on a volume of work and the bid that the contractor gives for each of those unit items. This contract totals $1,899,840. And is also subject to a 2% increase annually. Again, this is also a one-year contract that we are now requesting 4 additional one-year extensions for a total of 5 years. Again, very similar to the contract we just discussed. Brandywine has been doing this work for us for many years, and the department is very satisfied with their work.
Thank you. Mr. Patrick, could you explain to the public, I heard what you stated about the water distribution. What is the sewer construction? What is that?
Sewer's very similar. It's replacement of laterals, collapsed laterals, clogged laterals, damaged laterals by others, sections of main, minor main replacements, lateral and main installs, the works.
Stormwater catch basins.
Stormwater as well, yep, catch basins, manholes.
Okay. Mr. Councilman White, do you have any questions?
No, Madam Chair, my apologies.
Anyone from Zoom have any questions? Okay, Vince, you want?
Okay, so we're recommending that the ordinance be approved for 4 additional one-year extensions of the sewer construction contract.
Any questions? Okay, if there's no questions from anyone online, any questions from anyone in the public? If not, this is an ordinance. It will be on the agenda on 12-5. Ordinance 24-059. It is an ordinance that has to be making a motion.
Motion, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second, the ordinance to be voted out of committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. January the 5th, this ordinance will be on. Thanks a lot for coming in.
We now have ordinance, if I've got my spot right, ordinance 24-060, authorize, approve 2 one-year extension of contracts 24031 PW Street paving Phase 11 between the City of Wilmington and Allen Myers, LP. Continue, sir.
Okay, so this contract was competitively bid earlier in this calendar year. It was awarded in the amount of $3,342,222. The approval of this ordinance would allow us to extend 2 one-year extensions to Allen Myers to continue street paving over the next 2 years.
And again, the extensions are done, why?
Because it's a multi-year contract, we have to bring it to council. So when it was originally bid, we awarded at 1 year, and the intent was to have it as a multi-year contract, since we have a lot of paving that we have to do around the city for both road cuts by others as well as city paving work. We have to maintain active paving contracts at all times.
And my question was, are we going to still maintain the same pricing for?
This particular contract does maintain the same pricing. There is an asphalt parameter in there. If the price of asphalt goes higher, they can request an increase based on that, but the.
Is it capped?
That is based on an index, an asphalt index. As long as oil prices are staying low, the asphalt index is is fairly steady.
Any questions from council members present or online? Yes, Mr.
Yes.
President.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This contract, where is it? Is there ever a reason that the contracts, these multi-year contracts, are they ever not, I have 2 questions, if that's okay, Mr. Chair. Are they ever not approved for that continuous year?
Actually, there was one previous paving contract where the contractor did not want to extend for the final year, so we did not.
Okay. And then, on our behalf, on the city's behalf, do we ever?
If there was a performance issue or
Okay.
or a reason why we wouldn't want to extend, we would exercise that. But in this case here, this vendor has been doing work for us for a while, and we're very happy with the work that they've been doing.
Okay, and then just the second question is, when did you say this, is this contract already in effect?
The first year of the contract was bid, awarded, and it's been in effect here for several months now.
Mm-hmm.
So this would allow Public Works the ability to go in and extend for a year, for a second and or third year.
And when would that take place? Next year?
1 year from the date of, I don't have the exact date
Okay.
of notice to proceed on this, but I think we may only be about 4 months into,
Okay.
4 or 5 months into this contract at max.
Okay, how come we're doing it so early?
I'm sorry.
Why are we doing it so early?
Well, we
Just
try to
a-
do this if I wait till the budget season,
I
then
got
we
you.
have trouble getting these ordinances on the agenda. So
Okay.
when I got these passed earlier in the year around the July timeframe, I had asked Law to get these queued up so we could get them introduced before the end of the year so that
Mm-hmm.
we don't come up against all the budget ordinances and so forth. And this way here, once it's extended, we know we can execute.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
More than welcome, Mr. President. There is a hand up and I can't see the name.
Thank you. It's Councilwoman Fields.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much. My question, Vince, is sometimes we do have performance issues with the sidewalks. So how are we calculating, or are we looking at how many times that we have to call back to have the contractor possibly fix a sidewalk?
So, Councilmember Fields, this particular contract is for street paving, so there's really no sidewalk work involved with that. That's a separate concrete improvements contract. This vendor is essentially doing milling and paving on the streets.
Okay, well, excuse me for the sidewalk. Okay, what about the paving when they go around one of those what is it? Like the water drains, and they don't fix it. Like it's all like it could be a bump in the road, so they didn't flatten it to I guess to equal up to where the water drain is, so it's like a bump. And I've seen those a few times, so I don't are we going back to double check those?
So I just, to be clear, so I have an engineering firm that we use, Mott McDonald, where I have multiple inspectors in the field with these crews every day. So A lot of times what will come in are around manhole covers, valve boxes, and utility stormwater catch basins. They'll mill up to them and then pave, and then we'll go back afterwards and do adjustments and put a concrete collar around the utilities in the street to raise those up flush to the grade. That's essentially how our specifications work in the city. We won't just pave flush with the asphalt. We'll typically collar the utilities just to protect those and prevent future cracking and potholing.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so I always have inspectors out on the field. We don't release retainage to the contractor unless everything, the punch list items and everything in the areas and the work orders that they've been given are completed to our satisfaction.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I think that's good that you stated that y'all do have individuals that come out and do inspection, because I too have noticed some of the work, most of it looks pretty good, but just where they may have left some stuff because of some, I know we had something that Nathan Field had put in about picking up equipment. And about a month ago, they had left some equipment out on Spruce Street for like months, but the guy ended up coming back picking it up. So maybe because the inspector came out or whatever, so that's pretty good. Any more questions?
I'll say it.
Okay. This is an ordinance, is this 2460?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, so this is an ordinance 2460. It has to be voted at a committee. Do we have a motion?
Motion, Madam Chair.
Second.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. The ordinance to be voted out of committee. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All them opposed? Motion carried. This will be on the agenda on 12/5. The next ordinance would be 24-61. Authorizing approval of 2-year extension contract, gasoline, heating oil, and diesel fuel between the city of Wilmington and James River Solution. Who's here to speak in?
That'd be me.
You've had a long agenda tonight. Could you-
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So this contract was competitively bid earlier, prior to the start of the fiscal year '25. This is for the supply of gasoline, heating oil, and diesel fuel to all city facilities, mainly our municipal complex where our pumps are, but also for heating oil at various city-owned buildings. James River Solution was the low bidder, and what this ordinance will allow us to do is to extend with 2 one-year extensions on their contract. The annual amount of the contract is typically in the range of $1.25 million. That's based on how much fuel we buy. There is no cost escalation. Essentially, what James River does through this contract, they bid the price to get us fuel from point A to point B, which the price of the fuel is determined based on the Opus Pad 1 price on the day of the order. So the fuel price isn't locked in, but the delivery charges are.
Miss, I have a question. Are most of these, such as Allen Myers, I know Brandywine is, James River, are most of these contractors, are they local?
Some are, some aren't. Brandywine is, they're right down, right near the Port of Wilmington.
What about Myers?
Myers is based in, they're based out of Pennsylvania, but they do have a Wilmington office over on Rodney Street. They have a fairly large presence here because they're doing a lot of work at our wastewater treatment plant as well. So they have multiple crews and some local folks that are working for them.
I see their trucks a lot. What about James River?
James River is essentially like a fuel broker and hauler. So I believe they're out of Virginia, but they run to Philadelphia and pick up the fuel, and then the fuel is delivered based on our orders.
Okay, that's all. Anyone else have any questions?
Madam Chair.
Mr. White? Mr. White?
Deputy, what's the minimum liability insurance required?
I believe on this it may be $1 million.
And I'm going to say this, just $1 million, but my question is, so each occurrences, and I can take my answer offline, for $9 million, that umbrella coverage, what would that cover?
If they have, again, I'm not intimately familiar with their insurance certificate, but if they have umbrella coverage, it's going to cover any issues with their trucks, any damage they may cause at our facilities. You know, if they were to do something and cause, like, overfill a heating oil tank at a fire station and cause a fuel spill or whatever, that type of liability, umbrella liability coverage would cover any damages like that,
Madam Chair?
Follow up, please.
And we're named as an additional assured?
typically, yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Do we have any more questions from any council members online? Any more questions, council members in here? Do we have any questions from anybody in the public? Okay, we don't have any more questions. This is an ordinance. It has to be voted out. May I get a motion?
Motion, Madam Chair.
Second?
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. The ordinance has been voted out of committee. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. This will be on the agenda 12-5. And with that being said, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And motion carried. Thank you, Vince. You did a great job.